Some seasons of life feel like walking straight into a locked door over and over again. You try harder, think harder, pray harder, hold yourself together a little tighter, and still nothing opens. Plans fall apart. People disappoint you. Effort doesn't seem to match the outcome. Somewhere inside, a quiet question starts forming. Why does life feel so unfair right now? And maybe even heavier than that, why does it feel like everything is working against you? A lot of the pain doesn't come only from what happened. Strange as it sounds, part of the pain comes from what you believed should have happened. Deep down, you expected fairness. You expected your sincerity to be met with ease, your patience to be rewarded, your good intentions to produce good results. So when life turns sharp, cold, or confusing, it doesn't just hurt. It feels wrong, like reality broke some silent agreement you thought it made with you. Yet life has never promised perfect balance on your schedule. Rain falls on careful people too. Delays visit honest hearts. Confusion shows up even when your intentions are pure. Seeing that clearly changes something, not because hardship suddenly becomes pleasant, but because resistance starts to loosen. A person suffers twice when they fight both the pain and the fact that pain exists. Life can be unfair sometimes. Not always, not forever, but enough to humble every human being who walks through it. Once that truth lands, even a little, your energy stops leaking into the impossible task of demanding that reality behave exactly the way you want. From there, a deeper kind of wisdom can begin, and that's where everything starts to shift. When nothing goes your way, the first move is not panic. It's not spiraling. It's not assuming your whole life is cursed because one chapter feels heavy. First, you pause and ask a better question. What exactly is happening here? Not every hard moment is the same, and treating every problem like one giant monster only makes you feel smaller. Some struggles are like knots you can untie with patience and honesty. Others are storms passing overhead, real, uncomfortable, impossible to control. Wisdom begins when you stop mixing the two. So sit with the situation long enough to name it. Is this something that came from your own choices, your own habits, your own blind spots, your own delay, your own fear? Or is this something outside your hands, someone else's behavior, someone else's opinion, someone else's rejection, someone else's strange way of moving through the world? A lot of suffering grows because people keep trying to fix what was never theirs to fix. Imagine trying to smooth the surface of the ocean with your palms. Exhausting, right? Yet that is exactly how life feels when you keep grabbing at what was never in your control. Now, if the situation is in your control, then hard truth becomes your medicine. Maybe a mistake was made. Maybe something was ignored for too long. Maybe fear dressed itself up as waiting for the right time. Whatever it is, if your own choices helped create the problem, then your own choices can begin to change it. Nobody else can do that inner labor for you. Advice can point the way. Support can steady your feet. But correction, real correction, has to come from within your own willingness to face yourself honestly. That part is hard. Still, it's powerful, because what belongs to your hands can be rebuilt by your hands. Clarity like that is freeing. Pain becomes simpler when you know where to place your energy. Instead of drowning in the full emotional weight of everything at once, you begin separating the threads. Here is what can be repaired. Here is what must be accepted. Here is where responsibility is needed. Here is where surrender is wiser. And once you learn to make that distinction, life stops feeling like one giant punishment. It starts feeling more like a map. Not an easy map maybe, not a straight one, but at least now you know where to step next. Any part of your pain that lives inside your control is calling for action, not endless self-judgment. Regret loves to sit in the mind and replay old scenes like a movie that never ends. Action breaks that spell. If the problem came from a choice you made, then own it without turning it into your identity. A mistake is not your name. A wrong turn is not your destiny. Sometimes all that's needed is a correction, not a collapse. A course adjustment, not a funeral for your self-worth. Maybe you spoke carelessly. Maybe you stayed where you should have left. Maybe you kept postponing something important because discomfort felt too expensive. Human beings do that all the time. Still, once you can see your part in the situation, a strange kind of strength returns, because now you're not helpless anymore. You're responsible. And responsibility, while heavy at first, is one of the most freeing things in the world. It gives your hands something real to hold. It reminds you that not every closed door is rejection. Some are consequences, and consequences can teach. Growth rarely looks dramatic while it's happening. Usually, it looks ordinary. A difficult apology, a cleaner habit, a stronger boundary, a decision repeated every day until it becomes a new way of being. No lightning in the sky, no music playing in the background, just quiet change, brick after brick. That's how a broken path gets rebuilt. Not all at once, not perfectly, just honestly. And honest effort has a way of restoring dignity to a person who thought they had lost themselves. As you begin changing what can be changed, something subtle happens. Your mind becomes less chaotic. Why? Because confusion often feeds on passivity. Once movement begins, even small movement, the soul can breathe again. You start feeling the difference between suffering that teaches and suffering that drains. You begin understanding that some chapters feel heavy because they are demanding a new version of you. Not a shinier version, not a fake positive version, a truer one. And once that truth settles in, the next lesson becomes easier to receive, because not everything can be fixed through action. Some pain does not yield to effort. No amount of overthinking will control another person's mouth, another person's mood, another person's opinion, another person's strange behavior. Criticism belongs to the one speaking it. Misunderstanding belongs to the one refusing to see clearly. Harsh treatment, rejection, mockery, passive aggression, none of these begin in your hands, which means they cannot be fully solved there either. And yet so many people spend years trying to edit how they are perceived, years trying to earn softer treatment from people committed to being hard, years trying to explain themselves to closed hearts. Here is the deeper invitation. If you cannot change the situation, change your perspective about the situation. Not in a fake way, not in a way that denies hurt, more like turning a stone in your hand and realizing there is another side to it. Someone's criticism does not automatically become your truth. Someone's poor behavior is not proof that you are unworthy. Somebody else's chaos does not have to become your inner climate. Once you understand that, peace stops depending on perfect conditions. Peace becomes something you protect from the inside. A strong perspective is built, little by little, through what you let into your mind each day. Fill your inner world with bitterness, and even neutral moments start to look hostile. Feed your mind with steady, honest, life-giving thoughts, and your vision changes. Not magically, gradually, like a room brightening at sunrise. You start meeting difficult people without absorbing all of their darkness. You stop chasing every thrown stone. You stop answering every invitation to anger. Kindness becomes less of a performance and more of a power. Positivity stops being a slogan and becomes a discipline. Life becomes lighter when you stop wrestling with the wind. Unexpected things will happen. Delays will come. Some outcomes won't match your hopes. Some plans will crumble in your hands. That does not mean you are abandoned. It means you are alive. A mystery is unfolding, and mystery does not ask for your full understanding before it moves. Your task is simpler, though not easier. Respond wisely. Change what belongs to you. Reframe what does not. Hold your center when the outer world behaves strangely. That is how peace survives in a noisy life. When life stops cooperating, don't let your first conclusion be that everything is ruined. Slow down. Look again. Some things need your courage. Some need your acceptance. Some need your honesty. Some need your release. Not every painful moment is asking you to fight harder. Sometimes it is asking you to see clearer, and clarity changes everything. Once you learn to separate what is yours from what is not, you stop wasting your strength in the wrong battles. You begin to move with wisdom instead of panic, with steadiness instead of emotional chaos.